The eve of UFC 226, and with one of the most anticipated cards, well, probably of this year. Well, I was going to say ever, but definitely not ever. But it's definitely this year so far. Stacked card. Unfortunately, we don't get the Max Holloway Brian Ortega fight. In case you haven't heard, Max Holloway was taken to hospital on Monday evening. The news broke on Wednesday, or Thursday rather, that he was taken to hospital with concussive like symptoms and had to withdraw. They were kind of humming and hawing, I think, UFC officials about a replacement for Brian Ortega. Frank Yeager threw his name into the hat. Jeremy Stevens also threw his name into the hat. But I think it's right for Ortega to say no to these fights and wait for Holloway to get better because he's in a no, he's in a lose-lose situation. He doesn't gain anything, everything to lose. Do you know that type of way? So it doesn't make any difference for Ortega to really wait. They were talking about maybe rescheduling that fight for UFC 227 next month in August, but it's probably way too soon. I think even Dana White at the media press conference was saying that it's way too soon. These things have to be treated, very seriously. Um, I believe Holloway was slurring his speech, hard to wake up, no energy, like very scary stuff. So interesting to see where he is at now when he comes back. 145. He is talking about moving up as well. So that's it's always a worry when things like that happen. But the card itself does go ahead, and it's a really good card. Aside from that, we still get our main event, Daniel Cormier against Stipe Miocic, and we nearly didn't get the fight. It was a bit of a scare yesterday at the media conference when Daniel Cormier at the very end tripped. Same type of thing with Tony Ferguson, tripped over a wire, which forced him out of his fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov during the year, earlier in the year in March. So scary stuff, but we still get the knee. The knee, we don't get the knee. We get the fight, and Cormier at the weigh-ins, who incidentally weighed 246 pounds. That's what he weighed in at. That's what he said he was going to weigh a few months ago, and he's on the button. Was saying he was talkative. He was joking aside with the journalist there, saying that his knee is fine. Everything's good to go. He looked good. Well, I mean, in terms of kind of, he wasn't hobbling around. So happy days. Um, Miocic weighs in at 242.5 pounds, and that's pretty much par for the course for himself, really. But it's an interesting fight. I can't wait for it. Stylistically, it's great. We all know Cormier is a beast when it comes to takedowns. His takedown average is insane. But that being said, I mean, Miocic is so strong. He's a natural heavyweight. He's big, big, big and strong. Cormier hasn't fought a heavyweight since 2013, so it'd be interesting to see how much strength he has in himself and if he's able to take down Miocic. I know Miocic is going to be a bit lighter, but it's probably one of the heaviest guys he's going to try and take down. Miocic himself has pretty good takedown defense. It's something like 3 out of every 4 takedowns. He's been able to defend, but now if Cormier is able to close the distance, clinch up with Miocic, it's going to be a fascinating fight because Cormier's clinch game is so strong. He's very good in the grappling exchanges, and you know he's ragdoll guys before. Like you look at the Josh Barnett fight, he just ragdolled Barnett as if he was nothing, as if he was a toy. It was just phenomenal performance in that fight. But if Cormier can use his strength, if he can close the distance, get on the front foot early, it could make things very interesting if he's forcing Miocic to take a step backwards straight off the gate. If Miocic can keep the fight on the outside, use his long rangy jab, use those nice kicks of his, there's a good chance that he'll end up winning this fight, be able to pick Cormier apart. And the thing that gets kind of overlooked sometimes in Miocic's fights is his footwork. For a heavyweight, he's so light on his feet. He's like a tight end in American football, in that he's able to dodge and he's able to weave in and out with no issues. And we saw that in the Ngannou fight when he just sidestepped Ngannou with ease and made him pay with a few elusive, not elusive, but countering kind of hooks from different angles, which was really interesting because you're not really used to seeing heavyweights being so light on their feet. So I'm really looking forward to that, and my heart of hearts tells me not to overlook Miocic. I overlooked him slightly maybe in the Ngannou fight, even though I kind of picked him to win, but more that was more out of experience more than anything. But he has the experience. Cormier has experience at heavyweight. He's a phenomenal champion himself at 205. But moving up after so many years at being a light heavyweight, I just wonder how his gas tank is going to hold up. I just wonder if he can't get the early takedown, how is it going to affect him mentally? Because if he can't get the early takedown, it might be a big trouble. It might be a long night for Cormier. He might get frustrated, and we've seen Cormier get rocked, and Miocic does have big, like natural power, big punches, and we've seen Jones get knocked around in the Jones fights. Um, so it's going to be a really fascinating fight. I think Miocic has the edge, so I'm going to pick Miocic just about. I mean, it's a fascinating fight, and I can't wait. Co-main event, obviously we're supposed to have Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, but we now get Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou, and I'm really looking forward to this fight too. Um, Mainly for Ngannou. Now he came in lighter than he usually is. He's a lot leaner. He looks a lot. He looks a lot. He's bulky for sure, but he looks in good shape. Um, we all know his knockout power is ferocious, but his cardio. That's where we're going to see him now. Will he push the pace? Can he go? It's obviously not a 25-minute fight this time, and he has experience now of going the full 5 rounds. With well, not the full 5 rounds, but he has the cardio to go there. So it'd be interesting to see what improvements he's made. Obviously, Derek Lewis as well is he also has cardio issues as well, as we've seen in the past. But the two guys do have big knockout power and can finish the fight at any moment. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I'm looking forward to the fight. Um, I just worry about Lewis in this fight. I'm not really sure. I think Ngannou has bigger power. I think you'll learn a lot from the Miocic fight. There's a lot to study from that fight. What he did wrong, he did a lot of things wrong. He's been working with the UFC Performance Institute, so it's going to be interesting to see what he's done, what improvements he's made, and I'm pretty sure the pretty big improvements will have been made. So I think Ngannou will take this. I'm not sure how early it's going to be, but I reckon he does finish Derek Lewis. I think the power is there. I just think he learn. I think he's gone on to learn a lot from the last fight. So I'm taking Ngannou in this one. Elsewhere on the card, the big stat card. I'm looking forward to seeing Paul Felder fight. He steps in against Mike Perry at 170, and Paul Felder looked gaunt, to put it lightly. I mean, at 155, I think his days are numbered now. 155, he's even said it himself. He's not going to fight at 155 anymore. He fights Mike Perry. Mike Perry is a wild man inside and outside of the octagon. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think Paul Felder is going to have a big chip in his shoulder. His last few opponents have either pulled out with injury, been moved to different fights, etc. He's going to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder. I think he's going to come in there and probably pick Perry apart. I like Felder. I think he's a very good technical wrestler. I think he's a very good technical striker. I think his all round game is going to be great, and I think he's going to have a new lease of power at 170, and that's where he's going to stay pretty much. I'm really looking forward to seeing him there. I think Perry, he is a wild man. He is a wild fighter. He says he's not going to get too wild in there, but he's going to want to make a statement. Paul Felder's a big name for Perry. If Perry can come through Felder, the world's his oyster. There's plenty of big opportunity fights down the line, but I think Paul Felder just has this in the bag. Um, but really, I think the fight card itself is really good. But looking further down the card, there's one name that really kind of rings out in a kind of being a bit overlooked, and that's Rafael Hassuncao. Or is it Rafael Hassuncao? Either or. Hassuncao hasn't lost since he lost to Dillashaw many years ago, and is on an absolute tear now. And I think he's so close. I think he's so close to getting a UFC title fight. I don't know why he's being overlooked. It's amazing to me why he's being overlooked. He's come off big fights now against Marlon Moraes and Alberto Lopez. Sorry, Matthew Lopez. If you even I think with an impressive win over Rob Font, I think Assunção can really, really stake a claim to get a title shot. He's just been. It's crazy that he's so overlooked in the division. I don't know. I don't know if it's the case that two of his last three fights have gone by way of decision and hasn't been exactly standout performance. It's baffling to me, really. I don't know. I don't really know. Um, but if he can come off against Rob Font, it'd be very interesting to see. I mean, his submission game is ridiculous. He has 10 submissions in his career. His ground game is phenomenal. He's just so sneaky off his back. I think if he can lock Rob Font up, I think it's game over. But on the flip side, Rob Font isn't too shabby himself. He's a really good striker, great technical boxer, some really nice leg kicks. If he can keep the fight on the outside, he'll have a huge chance. But Sun Tzu is on a bit of a tear, and I like his chances in the fight. I think he's going to win the fight, and I think he can really stake a claim to become a number one contender for the title. Um, but yeah, I mean UFC 226. I'm really looking forward to it. We had our scares. International Fight Week has been insane over the last 4 years, in that we've seen huge changes to big fights. UFC 200 is probably the most notable one, or Conor McGregor against obviously Chad Mendes when he's supposed to fight Aldo that time. But I'm looking forward to the fight card. You can catch all the updates. The round by round updates will be on Twitter at Writing Irish MMA. Live results will be on the blog over on the writingirish.com, and everything else will be on the Facebook page, facebook.com/writingirish. So you can basically keep up to date with everything that goes on, news, views, previews, analysis, whatever. I'm going to have a video log straight after the Ultimate Fighter finale and also the UFC 226. So keep an eye for them. The podcast will hopefully be coming out on Monday if I can find some contributors. They've kind of been let down a bit of late, but we'll stick something together and hopefully we get the first episode out there. But until then, guys, enjoy the fights.